Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ilian and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Raymond. Raymond is from Vancouver, in Canada. So let's see what Raymond has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, hello, Raymond. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. How did you find me?
Literally, it shows on my social media page, like on Facebook, on TikTok, or Instagram, in your feeds. And
Yeah,
I literally just fire the message as I did. And if my guests say yes, good. If they say
great.
no, good as well. You know what I mean? Didn't meant to be.
Okay.
So it's just
Okay.
like I love connect with random people around the globe, and I believe everyone, has a story to tell. So I think it's great when we have this opportunity to talk about things and get connected, for
Oh,
sure.
I love the idea of it. It's great. So I'm really thankful to be here. Awesome.
So tell me, how's your day going so far?
So far, so good. I got up. I'm having my third coffee of the day now. I've had to run some errands this morning. And then, of course, I was just sort of waiting around doing some reading until this interview came up. So, yeah, it's been a good morning so far. How about for you?
Been great, actually. I already had dinner. Yeah. It's funny because
It's a
you're
little
having
bit, it's a little
coffee.
bit later there.
Yes. And tell me, yeah, it's been great. It's been a great day. I think, I love going to bed feeling tired when I feel like, I've done a lot during the day. So I think it's great. It's a great feeling.
Beautiful. Yeah, when you have a really full day and you're exhausted by the time you go to bed and you just crash, it's great.
So
I
tell me where
agree.
you're from, Raymond.
I'm from Vancouver, Canada. So you know where that is?
Absolutely, of
Right
course.
down, right down on the tip of BC on the USA border.
Amazing. So born and raised?
No, I was actually born in Edmonton, Alberta, which is the next province over. And when I was about 12 years old, my family moved to Edmonton. And so I was there for majority of my life. And then I moved to Vancouver in 1999.
What's the best part of living in Vancouver, in your opinion?
No snow. Well, very little snow. So coming from Alberta, the winters were very cold.
Yeah.
They would start in October. It would always be snow on the ground by the time Halloween rolled around, and you'd have the snow until April. And I am just not a snow beast, so I'm not good with skiing or snowboarding. You'd think I would be because I'm fairly athletic, but I never really got instructions in it, and I've never really had the opportunity to take it on. It's always something I'm interested in trying, but I just don't have anybody to do it with.
And
So
all your
I'm
fa-
no snow, no snow for me.
and all your family are back in Alberta or not?
No, my mom lives here. She lives about 40 kilometers away from me in Langley, and my sister and her brother and her husband, my brother-in-law, they live in Surrey, which they're pretty close suburbs of Vancouver, so they're each about a 45-minute drive to get to. And they
Amazing.
moved here. Well, my mom moved here after my dad died, and then my sister and brother-in-law, they followed a few years later.
I see. And what do you do for work, for living, Raymond?
Yeah, I don't work right now. I'm going to school. So I'm in my last semester of law school. I have two more semesters left. But I did work. I worked as a nurse at BC Children's Hospital and I worked there for 27 years. I started as a nurse and then I became a coordinator, an educator, and
Wow.
then a supervisor. And then they wanted to succeed me into higher level positions. So I went and back and I did some more education and training and then got some higher level positions. And then during the pandemic, I was like, I can't do healthcare anymore. I'm so done with this, and it's just time for something else. So I had a friend at the time who was like, why don't you apply to law school? And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. Those are the really smart people. I'm not that smart. And he was like, yeah, you are really smart, Raymond. So why don't you just try and see? And I debated and I thought about it, and I thought, well, I have nothing to lose by applying, and so why not just go ahead and try it? And so I wrote my LSAT, and then I applied for one law school because I take care of my mom on the weekends. So I couldn't go away to do law school. I had to do it here in Vancouver. and I got accepted to Allard, which is one of the top schools in Canada. So I'm super stoked about that, and only 2 months left to go.
Almost there. Oh my God.
Almost there. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Amazing. I love it. Okay, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your journey and also about your life so far, okay?
Sure, sounds good.
But before we start our journey within the Magic Box, would you like to tell me what has been the highlights of 2025 so far for you?
The highlight of 2025. Oh, it's so early in the year to be deciding
I
the
know.
highlight. I think the highlight was getting my marks back from last semester and
Mhm.
seeing what those were like. Because the first couple years, I really struggled with a lot of personal stuff that was going on, and then having to do law school on top of it. So my marks were not as high as I was accustomed to or used to. So I managed to pull that up last semester, and so it was really nice to see some A's on my transcript this time around rather
It's
than all B's. So
amazing. Wow, love it. Raymond, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories
yeah,
in life? From your point of
yeah,
view?
let's do it.
Amazing. Welcome to William in the Magic Box. So I have here my best full of random fun questions. I'm
Yeah,
just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question. Okay?
sure.
Let's do it. Yes, you always can dance with me. So before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, you don't want to talk about, I always can change. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Right. First question is, what does family mean to you?
Family is my biggest support. So my mother is my best friend. She knows mostly everything about me, not everything, but mostly everything. I had a really tumultuous relationship with my sister when she was younger, and we didn't get along very well. But in my older years, my sister and I get along very well. She's become a close, dear friend of mine as well. So I really feel that's the base of all my relationships. My mother and my father, before he died, had a great relationship together, no infidelity, no lies, nothing. And they really created a model of the kind of relationship that I would want in my
Mhm.
future. So it really is my family is the foundation of everything I do in life.
Wow. Okay, so let's see that your mom and your sister, your family, they're watching this interview right now and you have a moment, an opportunity to send them a message. What would you say?
I would say I love you and I appreciate your unending support for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Next question. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Raymond. Next question is, what are you most passionate about?
So I am very passionate about fitness.
Mhm.
You know, at 52 years old, I feel that fitness is probably one of the most basic things you can do in life to age well. So I've always been focused on fitness. What got me through nursing school was being a lifeguard and a swimming instructor, and I did competitive swimming.
Wow.
And then I've worked out, and now I'm full on into CrossFit, and I love it. I love it because it's just such a functional fitness exercise. It makes everything in life really easy. So I'm passionate about that. And I'm passionate about my relationships in life, whether they be romantic or a friendship or my family. Relationships are really important to me. And if I'm struggling in a relationship of any kind, like a friendship, romantic, or family, it really weighs heavily on my heart. And so I really try to make things better, be the peacekeeper, apologize, with boundaries, of course, but I think those are the two things, fitness and family. Fitness and relationships are really key for me.
How often do you do your CrossFit or do you go to the gym? There is like do you have like a routine or like some resting days as well? How does it work for you?
Yeah, I try to get to CrossFit about 5 days a week and take 2 days off. It's a very intense exercise. It's really hard on the body. And if you do it too often, you sustain injuries quite frequently. So you do need the time off in there. So I try to get 5 days a week generally.
Mhm.
Really easy to do it in the summer when I'm off of school, but my school schedule this semester is very busy. So I'm looking at really about 3 days a week right now and just maintenance. So I'm not in the state where I can progress, but I can maintain.
And you talk about relationship, it's fascinating to see your, let's say, opening about, different relationship, like as a romantic, as a friendship, as, family relationship. What's your star sign astrology?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Okay, interesting.
Why is that interesting?
No, because I don't know
What did it
much
say?
about Aquarius. No, because when you thought about relationship, and I thought maybe it could be Taurus, because they
Yeah,
they are very connected with relationship, like as a couple. They have this tendency to be always with someone. So when you
right.
said that, I was like, maybe because I've got my close friends, some of them they are Taurus, and they never seen themselves alone. There's always have someone in their lives, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have usually had somebody in my life. For the majority of my life, there has been a partner that I have been with.
Mhm.
Some have been longer. I've had a 17-year relationship, and after I separated from him, I've gone through a series of other relationships that have been not so good. And I've learned a lot from them. I've learned about things that I'm looking for in the future, but also things that I need to do differently going forward.
Amazing. Great. Next question. Let's do it. Raymond, before the next question, tell me, working 27 years in healthcare, what did you like the most about the journey? And what was the biggest joy of it? And the flip side, what was the most challenging part about your career at the time?
So, what I liked the most and what was the most challenging are two very similar things. So, I worked in children's psychiatry for 27 years, and I loved being able to make an impact on youth that would change the directory of their life, that would change where they were going, that would make things better, that they would then come back 10 years later and be like, hey, I remember you and you were my nurse and you made it a lot better. And now I've just finished university and I'm super proud of myself, right? So you have that side of thing. And then the other side of things where it was really difficult to make a difference. You'd
Hmm.
have kids that would end up going back to the same familial situation that was really troublesome for them, or they were so mentally ill that you just knew that the prognosis for them wouldn't be so good. And
Hmm.
so the not being able to help youth, right? So the being able to help and the not being able to help. And those are two flip sides of the same coin. So those were the challenges. I mean, other challenges in healthcare is always like political stuff, administrative stuff, discipline of staff, but those were not the biggest challenges. The biggest challenges were the hardest to help patients.
I see. All right. Next question is, what makes you the happiest?
What makes me the happiest? When I'm with somebody who I know truly loves me.
Wow, that's a great answer. My God, I love that.
Yeah, I've, like I said, I left somebody after 17 years and I've been in a series of bad relationships since then. And I have never felt loved in the same way I did. And I'm not necessarily looking for the same kind of love, but I'm looking for that feeling that that person loves you, the feeling that they're on your side, the feeling that they'll support you no matter what. And I've not experienced that since. And I had that with my ex, Lyle, of 17 years, but I've not
Wow.
been able to find it. I have been hurt by everybody since.
What's the meaning of love for you saying that?
Honesty,
Hmm.
transparency, intimacy,
Hmm.
attachment, knowing that they accept you for who you are,
Yeah.
knowing that They will always be there for you. Even if you're arguing, if you're arguing and taking space from each other, you know that they're there for you, that you can reach out and they're going to take your call and they're going to be like, "Okay, I'm really mad at you, but I'm going to come and help you right now. It's okay, I get it." Um Yeah, just this mutual respect when you're arguing with somebody that you can hear their side of things and they will hear your side of things. That there is the capacity to apologize and really mean it, not just a blanket apology, "Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way," but
Mm-hmm.
an apology that says, "I'm sorry I did this to you. And
Mm-hmm.
I can understand why you would feel that way, and I can understand why you would react that way, and I'm really sorry." And I haven't seen a true apology from anybody in years.
Oh, um, dating in Vancouver, I believe you're part of the LGBTQ plus community, yes?
Yes.
Of course, big cities like, like London, New York, big places, Vancouver as well, of course. Um, do you feel like the same stigma they have, like big cities, difficult to get a relationship, it's difficult to go on a date, the gay scene can be a bit too fast. So what's your opinion regarding that about Vancouver?
I think it's really a personal decision
Right.
that it comes down to. I mean, if I wanted to, I could be going on a date with somebody every day. I could be hooking
Mhm.
up with somebody every day if I chose to. But I think that there's something to be said for being selective and kind of getting to know people a little bit before you engage in that emotional attachment. I have had a couple relationships where I got involved with somebody very quickly and they were disastrous, for my reasons and their reasons, but I I I think for me it's important to be taking things slow and not emotionally investing really quickly off the bat. I'm very guarded now in regards to meeting people because at my age, if you meet somebody younger, they are looking for a sugar daddy or they're looking for somebody that's going to take care of them or be that daddy for them. And so I'm careful about that. And then I'm also like, people in my age category, I do have requirements that they be fit, that they take care of themselves, that they have a good job, and that limits some of the options here as well. So I'm just kind of like limited across the board, and that's okay. I
Mhm.
don't need lots. Like I said, I'm looking for that person that I feel that love with again, and I have felt
Do you
love
feel like
with the exes.
um,
I've felt love for the people that I've dated, but there's always been something in the background that has scared me or worried me or made me think that they're not what they say they are.
saying that, as I can see how much you want to have someone in your life? I can see how you desire to have again a long relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like person it's somehow still far away, or do you find like, okay, I feel like it can happen anytime soon?
I'm always somebody that is optimistic, and I think that you never know what happens. You go to a party and you meet somebody at a party, or you go to see friends and you meet a friend of a friend, and those things can happen very quickly. Relationships can switch on a dime overnight. You can be in love with somebody the next one day, and then the next day you find something out and you don't want to talk to that person anymore. Um, so I don't know if it's a long way away, and I don't know if it's tomorrow, but I think that the key is remaining open to those
Mhm.
possibilities, right? Like if I shut myself down to the possibility, then yeah, absolutely, it's a long-term thing. It's way down the line. But if I keep myself open to what's happening in my life, the people I'm meeting, then I think it can happen quickly, but it doesn't have to. I'm not in a rush to find that next person. After Lyle, I jumped from relationship to relationship to relationship, which I think was a reaction to being 17 years with somebody And I was just trying to fill that empty void I had, like I was so used to somebody being around for 17 years. I just needed somebody around so badly. And now I'm at the point where I don't need somebody around if they don't make me feel good about myself. So I
Absolutely.
would rather be alone with my dog who makes me feel good and who I know needs me than rushing into something else because I can't tolerate the loneliness or I can't stand my own thoughts by myself.
I totally agree with you. I think it's healthy for you to be able to like your own company, go through the process and to get to know yourself for when you're ready, not just you, but the other person somehow gonna cross your path and both are in the same level and, aim for the same thing. That's how I believe as well.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I think too.
Next question. Let's do it. Hey, next question is, what makes you a unique person?
What makes me a unique person? Uh, well, I think that I've got, I think if we look at the sun sign of Aquarius, I'm deeply creative and I am I'm deeply creative and I'm intellectual and I think about things. I ruminate on things a lot. I think about every avenue that can be connected to an issue all the time. Like my brain is constantly going. So I think that makes me unique. I think at 50, I'm 52 tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
yeah. So I think at 52 to have the level of fitness that I have, that makes me pretty unique. There's not a lot of 52-year-olds out there that have the same level of fitness as me. I'm deeply, unlike an Aquarius, I can be aloof at times, but I'm deeply passionate about people, right? Like I worked for 27 years in healthcare because I love people and I love talking to people and I'm charismatic when I'm out. I can make friends with anybody at any party. I can talk to anybody about anything. So I think those are kind of some unique features of me. I work hard, I'm passionate, and I'm really caring.
Wow. Fun fact about this, I just find out about your birthday. My best friend, he's French, but he lives in Montreal, in Canada. Yeah.
Okay.
And his birthday today, actually. I go to Canada to Montreal every year because his son, my godson, who's 5 years old. So
Oh,
I
great.
try to spend Christmas or his birthday. My godson birthday is in October, so I go every year during this time to Canada. Um, so tell me, what's the plan for your birthday celebration?
Well, tomorrow I don't have any major plans. So tomorrow I am having pizza with a girlfriend of mine, and then Saturday I'm going out with another girlfriend of mine for dinner, and then Sunday my mom is making a traditional birthday dinner that I've had almost every single year for the last 25 years, beef stroganoff, and it's an old family recipe that dates
Love
back to
it.
like the 1940s. So really unhealthy for you, but really, really good. And then Sunday evening, I'm going to a fundraiser on the whole Palestine Gaza thing. So I'm doing that on Sunday evening. No plans on Monday, and then dinner plans with a friend of mine on Friday or on Tuesday. So I've got
Wow.
like a busy week, and then I'm fitting that all in with school and classes.
Wow. So we show all the very best enjoyable time when it comes. Okay. Have an
Yeah.
amazing time. All
Thank
right.
you. Well, I'm
Amazing.
really looking forward to my time with friends, so that's great.
Great. Next question. Let's do it. Before the next question, being a gay queer boy growing up in Canada, yeah, just repeat again the name of you said.
Edmonton,
Yes. Tell me how was for you? How was your experience?
it was really hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. So, I was born in 1973, so I was really dealing with coming out of the closet in the early 90s. And I came from a very strict Roman Catholic family, so that was super hard. Because of my mom and my dad's religious beliefs. They had a lot of difficulty accepting the fact that I'm gay. And society at the time was having a really difficult time accepting gay people. I mean, this is before we were just starting to see some legal rights around employment and same-sex benefits, and marriage still wasn't on the table yet. We still didn't have the right to marry. So I was growing up in a time where there was a lot of discrimination against gays and lesbians, LGBTQ plus people. And that was really hard to be navigating that, navigating coming out to a very religious family, and all of this on top of the HIV epidemic that was happening at the time. I mean, there weren't medications for it. People were dying. And, AZT was just coming out, and that wasn't so good. So we didn't have the protease inhibitors yet or anything like that. So there was still a lot of fear around gay people because of HIV. And I remember sitting around the family Christmas table, and my grandfather would be saying things like, well, HIV is God's punishment to gay men, right?
Wow,
This is the way the earth will be cleansed of them.
wow,
Saying all of that in front of me. I was young and impressionable, right? So this is what I thought. I thought, wow, this is what I'm going to get. This is my life. This is where things are going. So it was really hard. And each little political thing that happened, like when Delwyn Freed won employment benefits because he was wrongfully dismissed for being gay, um, different things that were happening with corporations and lobbying from GLBTQ plus groups and um, not buying their products, and the economic impacts that this had on these corporations to then start to adopt these same-sex uh, liberties and rights and stuff like that. Those were fundamental things that started to change stuff, right? And I was lucky that I was a strong enough individual when I was young to be able to say, well, mom, dad, like, I don't agree with this whole religion, this Roman Catholic thing. It's not for me. So I was strong enough to kind of separate from that and come out early in life. I told my parents when I was 18.
wow.
Um, and so then I dealt with their disappointment over, it took about 10 years for them to actually come around and accept me and meet my partners and stuff like that.
Wow. Question for you. Before you came out, do you think your parents they knew it?
I think that they would say no, they didn't, but I think my mom did. I
Wow.
don't think my dad did, but I think my mom had a suspicion,
Uh-huh.
and just there were things that she did, like she registered me in Army cadets because I needed to be more manly than I was. I was playing with Barbie dolls and I was playing with my sister and stuff like that. But I'm like, I only had a sister. Who was I supposed to play with, right? So, I was doing these things, and I always loved fashion and dresses and stuff like that. And I would wear my mom's house coat at night and go to bed in it. And my mom would always have a little bit of a cocked eye as to why I was wearing her house coat. And it's just a kid wearing your mom's house coat. But I think she didn't want to admit it, but I think she kind of knew in the back of her head.
And your granddad, who was he was making those comments, of course, he didn't know, you know what I mean? He was just society or religion just taught him that. He's still with us or he passed away already?
He's died now.
Uh,
He died last year.
so tell me, he passed knowing about you or not?
I never told him directly, but
Hmm.
he knew about other members in my family that were gay. So I'm sure my name came up in passing somewhere along the way. Well,
Right.
Nathan's not the only guy that's gay. Raymond's also gay. Like, I'm sure it's come up in passing, but I never did have that conversation with him nor my grandmother, nor did I feel it was really necessary because here I am living in Vancouver. They lived in Calgary. There was enough distance between us. I barely saw them. I
Right.
wasn't going back for Christmases anymore or anything like that. So I really felt that there was no necessity to know
Talk some.
everything about what was
I,
going on in my life. And especially bearing their emotional understanding of it, their political stance, their sociological stance on it. I just thought, I don't need to rock this boat.
totally, totally. Okay, next question is, tell us about your earliest memory in life.
My earliest memory in life was my parents, my mom and dad would take my sister and I out for brunch every Sunday. And I remember, my sister and I would finish eating early. And then I can't remember how old I was. I was probably about 7. But we were at this one brunch place, and Janine and I finished early, and we went outside and we climbed over a fence to be around the pool, the locked-in pool. And then there was no way to get out, right? Because it was like we were kind of locked in. We couldn't climb back over the fence to get out. So I started panicking. My sister started panicking. My parents were panicking because they couldn't find us. Finally, they heard us calling out for help, and my dad went to the gate and just lifted the latch and opened the gate. And so that is my number one thing that I remember is thinking, okay, when you're in these kind of situations, actually look around and see what's around there. So it kind of taught me not to panic in a situation and try to see things clearly through.
I love that. Amazing. 3 questions left. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yes. Next question is, what is one food you could eat for the rest of your life?
One food I could eat for the rest of my life. Probably steak.
Right.
Probably steak. I mean, every day for the rest of my life, that would be hard because I do really like food. I'm a foodie, and so I like variety. But if I had to have one thing every day, I would have the beef because it's great for muscle growth, it's great for recovery, it has lots of iron in it and vitamins and minerals. And so, yeah, I would probably do that. And then my second choice would be salad.
Very healthy.
I love a good salad.
You like cooking?
I do like cooking, yeah, and I'm pretty good at cooking. I can cook and I can bake, and I can bake.
Oh, wow. Nice. The perfect
Yeah.
husband.
Well, that's what I like to think, but I don't think my exes of the last few years think I would have been the perfect husband. That's why they're not around anymore. So,
Um, of course, you mentioned a few times about your ex that his name is Lyle. Lyle?
yes.
Lyle. Are you okay to talk about him? You all clear or
Yeah,
yeah?
I can talk about Lyle. Sure.
So tell me how your paths crossed.
So we were at a gay bar and I was very young. I think I was 26 and he was 22 at the time or 21.
Hmm.
And I saw him across the bar and I thought he was just the most beautiful thing. And I never talked to him that night. And I went back to my place. I was living with a girlfriend. Her name was Joanna. And I said to Joanna, man, that man was so handsome and so attractive. And can we go back next week? Because I'm gonna
Wow.
get courage to talk to him. So we went back the following week and he wasn't there. He didn't show up.
Oh,
And then I went the following week and the following week and the following week. And I went for 6 weeks looking for him
oh my
and he
God.
never was there. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe he was a visitor or something like that. So then a year later, he's back at the club again. And
Oh
I
my
said, "Oh
God.
my God, Joanna, it's that guy. It's that guy." I never could get him out of my head. It's that guy. It's that guy. So then I went up to him and we started talking. And he was just visiting, but he was there for a couple months this time. The year before, he had just come for a couple days, but now he was there for a couple months. And
Wow.
I asked him to go out, and we started going out. And then he was like, well, near the end of 3 months of dating, he told me, well, I'm moving to Vancouver. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. He's like, yeah, I'm going to makeup school there. So
Wow.
I thought, well, I don't really want to be in Edmonton anymore. I need to do something about this. So I left Edmonton. I got a job here as a nurse, and we dated for a couple months after that, and then we broke up. He was just like, Raymond, I cannot deal with a relationship with you. I want to have a family. I want to have kids. I'm never going to be able to do that with you. I mean, remember, this is like 1999, right?
Wow.
This is
Hmm.
1999. So there were no options for that. And he's just like, I can't do that. Like I want this life, and I don't I need to pursue something else. So that was really hard to hear after I had just moved here.
Of course.
And so my mom was like, come back home, come back home. And I was like, no, I'm going to stay here because I do like Vancouver a little bit better than Edmonton, but I'm going to stay here. And she was like, okay. And then I just continued to talk to Lyle over the course of 3 months. He was doing his thing, I was doing my thing. And then I had made a decision in my head that if by the 1st of January 2000, he didn't come around, that I had to let him go because
Mhm.
I was distraught. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't feel like I could start dating anybody else because I felt like we were pseudo dating. And so I was just like, you've got to clear this. And on December 28th, he was back home in Saskatchewan visiting his parents. On December 28th, he called me and he's like, Raymond, I've made a decision. I want to be with you.
Oh my
And
God.
it's, that other stuff that doesn't matter. We'll figure that out in time. You're just so important to me that I just want to be with you. And I said, well, what does that mean for your parents? He's like, I already told my parents. I let them know. And I was like, okay. And then after that, we spent 17 years together.
Wow. What a long story. I love that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was really good. And we did some really fun stuff in our time together. But we ended up growing apart at the end of the relationship. After years and years of experiences together, he sort of was moving in a different direction. I was moving in a different direction. And, I decided that I needed to leave to pursue other things. And he was really hurt about that. And we haven't talked since.
I see. By the way, it's okay to keep this in the interview. You'd like me to
Yeah,
cut it? It's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
no
Just want
problem.
just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Two questions left. Let's do it.
sure.
Okay. Next question is, what's the best gift have ever received and from whom?
Oh, that's a really good question. The best gift I've ever received and from whom? Um, I think it's the gift of love. Actually,
Wow.
that's what I would say it is. I went through the physical gifts I received, but I'm just like, all of those gifts, they didn't have meaning behind them, right? They were bought without real thought about what I wanted, or given to me in the same way they were given to somebody else previously. No real thought about what I would like or what I desired. Um, but I think receiving the gift of love and knowing what that looks like from my mom and my sister and Lyle, I think that's the biggest gift one can ever get. Right? I don't
Totally.
need things. I have enough money that I can go buy things myself and stuff like that. Anything I want, I can go get. So I don't look at gifts. It's not my love language to receive gifts. I like to give gifts, but I don't it's it's not something that's pressing for me. A heartfelt card, if somebody takes the time to write their emotions down on a card and present it to me, that
Yeah,
means that means a lot more than to me than 2 seconds in a store buying a gift, having it gift wrapped and given.
totally. Do you believe in destiny, Raymond?
No,
Okay.
I don't believe in destiny. I believe that the goals that we set today are what lead to our successes in the future. And that's up
Hmm.
for you to decide. So, in fact, you're creating your own destiny by establishing solid goals today.
Wow, beautiful. Last question, ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Last question.
Okay. Last one. Woo, 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 woo.
Before the last question, spending 27 years in healthcare, I'm sure you have a lot of stories to tell, a lot of stories that, somehow got close to your hearts, difficult timing, emotional time, I'm sure. My question for you is tell me a moment or a situation that, through those 27 years, that for one reason or another, you're always gonna remember, you're always gonna be there. That's for you, it meant something.
So, in healthcare, we were not always the greatest, even though we worked in psychiatry, we were not always the greatest dealing with a youth's sexuality or asking questions around that.
Hmm.
So I think the one scenario that really sticks out in my mind is a female patient that came in that was really depressed and suicidal and was having a lot of self-harm and was very guarded in answering questions or anything like that. And I had been working with her, she identified as she. I was working with her for a few days and had a bit of rapport with her. But I just felt that given her family circumstances, her religious background, and the way she presented, I kind of like my gaydar was going off a little bit, and I thought, I think this youth is a lesbian, and this is what's really causing some of this distress because the family can't accept it or doesn't know about it, or she's scared to tell them. So I remember at that point asking directly, and I said to the youth, I can't use the name, but I said to the youth,
No.
are you a lesbian? And she said, yeah, I think I am. And I said, well, how is that for you? She's like, I'm so scared. She's like, I don't know what to say. I don't know who I can talk to about it. I don't know if I can tell my family about it. I think my family will just disown me and I'll be on the street like a street person. And
Wow.
I don't know what to do about this. And that was a major disclosure from her, right? And then what it allowed us to do was it really allowed us to dive into that piece of it a little bit more and give her a safe space to talk about it because she didn't have any friends that were lesbian. She didn't have
Wow.
anybody. She was all alone and struggling through it day
Wow.
after day, scared of what her parents would think. So I asked if I could disclose it to the team and she was like, okay. And then we supported her and we kept her for a little bit of a longer stay because she was actively suicidal, not because of anything related to being gay, but because she was actively suicidal, right? And over the course of her stay in the hospital, she did end up disclosing it to her parents. And her parents really had a lot of difficulty with it. So we did a lot of counseling with them over the course of her stay. And by the end of it, we had successfully, or she had successfully disclosed to her parents. They were successfully able to reattach to each other. The youth went home with her parents. She went home on antidepressants, and she was on antidepressants for a couple years. And then she was able to go off of them.
Wow.
And she went forward in her life, and I think she ended up going to the university and doing her psychology degree with the idea that she wanted to become a psychologist. No
Wow.
more need for meds, no more self-harm or anything like that.
Wow.
So that stands out. And I have a few other stories that really stand out in my head, but I remember that one.
Wow, beautiful. I believe it's okay as well to keep this one because you didn't say names, you didn't say personal things, so I'm sure it's fine as well.
Yeah, I think we can keep it because I didn't disclose names and it was a very, very long time ago.
Absolutely beautiful. Last question is, oh, tough question now.
Uh-oh.
If your plane was going down and you could call just one person to say goodbye, which person that would be?
My mom.
Wow. I've got
100%
goosebumps now.
my
This
mom.
question is so somehow it's very negative, but the answer sometimes.
It's interesting. It's an interesting question
Yeah.
because I thought about it and I thought I would want to call this person, but that's not the right person to call.
Mm-hmm.
It is my mom would be the right person to call.
Wow.
And she's the most important person in my life, the most supportive, my best friend. And so she's the right person to call. Although initially my reaction was about somebody else.
Okay. Beautiful. You got the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give
Sure.
away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Sure.
Let's start with family.
Love,
Money.
necessary.
Fear.
What's that word I'm looking for? It's a potentiator.
Life.
Life,
Yeah.
life. Uh, worth it.
Love.
Needed.
I like the way I say needed. Religion.
Scary.
Sex.
That's interesting. Sex. What's the first word? So interesting, I guess, was the first word. That
Okay.
interesting.
Politics.
Scary as well.
Friendship.
Supportive.
Desire.
From the heart.
Regret.
Apologize.
Success.
Goals.
Wish.
$1 million.
Happiness.
With someone.
Vancouver, one word.
Rainy.
Canada.
That was hard, the association.
Huh?
That was hard, the association, because I
I know.
all these things, right?
One word for Canada.
Liberal.
One word for healthcare.
Progressive.
And the last one now, law school, one word.
Hard.
Oh dear. Let's pretend I'm going to meet your lovely mom for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, define Raymond in one positive and one negative word only. What should say?
She would say disciplined,
Mm-hmm.
and she could say moody.
Really? I would never think of that. Interesting. Talking to you.
Yeah.
If I would ask the same question to Lyle, would be the same answer or not?
Yeah, I think he would say disciplined, but maybe moody wouldn't be the word he would use. Maybe he would have used the word fun.
Okay. Let's play now,
But
Raymond.
I don't know. I don't know what he would say anymore. Who knows?
I,
He
I
might
just
say terrible person. Who knows?
I just hope this interview gets to him somehow, and he pause for a moment when we get to this part, and he have a think. Okay, let me see if he's gonna be right or wrong. And he plays again, and he's like, he was so right, or maybe he was like, he was so wrong.
Yeah, like who knows? I'm
Let's
not
see.
sure. I'm not sure what he would say anymore.
Let's play now, Raymond, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Raymond, you can ask me a question now.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh my God. Oh wow. Actually, I have this question here in the magic box. I hope in 5 years' time I'll be running the magic box as a full-time job, and also I just hope that I can achieve some other projects that I have already connected with the magic box, things that I just want, I'm you know I just can't wait to get this, this project, the magic box, in a proportion that, that people can feel how much I wanted, not just about, it's something so powerful, Raymond. It meant to be for me. When I think about the magic box, it's something about it that I said, my God, if I would see someone doing that, I'll be like, I would love to be doing that. So it's something that's meant to be for me. 5 years time, I hope that I'll be, 24 hours, like just all my energy, you know all in the magic box. I already have anyway. I wake up every morning thinking about the magic box. I go to bed every night, when I'm working, when I'm showering, when I'm traveling, when I'm in the airplane. It's always here. But
Right.
I just wanted, in 5 years time, to be able to, to be put everything more and more, that's, genuinely, you know what I mean, not just as something that, okay, no, I just wanted to have my full time, energy, just for that, because I could be here 24 hours, just here, connect with people, because it's the best. This is the best of me, Raymond. When I'm here, this is the greatest, this is the best. And people who knows me very well, they go like, my God, William, it's just you there. And
Right.
sometimes I forget I'm recording, because it's such um, a genuine feeling here right now, that I just remember when I look around and I can see the sign there. So yeah, 5 years time, I hope to be, involved in other projects as well, related to the magic box, for sure.
Amazing. Well, the work that you're doing today is setting you up for success in 5 years, right? That's what they say. The goals that you set today are what you achieve in five
Oh,
years. So you're well on your way.
thank you so much. Thanks for the
Doing
kind
great.
words. Thanks for being so open and so sweet as well when I said my invitation. I think it's great, when I have guests on the show, literally the other side of the world. And when this connection is here, I feel like I'm talking to you next door.
Yeah, I
You know,
feel like you're sitting right next to me. We're having our coffee together.
that's what I think as
It
well.
was really fun.
That's the
It was really
power
fun.
of. Thanks so much. Thanks again. And I just hope to see you sometime in Vancouver or somewhere. And I
Come
just
on
hope.
down for a visit.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Rem. I just hope that this person that you wanted to somehow cross your path. I just hope this person come along in the right time. I'm sure it will in the right time, because maybe you're not ready yet, or maybe the person not ready yet. I believe that for things to get together, it needs to be in the same path. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And I
let's
agree with that. I don't think I'm ready yet. I think
you
I have
see.
something to do some other stuff first before I can go down the right path.
And I
You know,
totally agree as well. Sometimes if you ask this question to yourself, you go, as you said now, it's genuine. You said like, okay, I want, but I'm not ready yet. You know what I mean? And so but it's good to be thinking, okay, where's the person? The next one.
I've just seen so many people leave a relationship and jump right into another one and right into another one, and it's disastrous for them.
It is.
So,
It is. Not
so
wrong with that. However, it's good for you to be alone. I know it sometimes can
yeah,
be hard, but it's the only way for you to get to know yourself and be ready for the next
for the next
relationship.
person. That's right. To
Always.
have
It's always,
space,
it's
to have
always
that
like
space in your heart. That's what you need.
totally,
Right
totally.
now, that space in my heart is very small. I'm working on making it bigger.
You know what sometimes I'm talking to my closest friends, I go like, my God, imagine what my next boyfriend is doing right this
Right.
moment. For
Yeah.
example, right this moment, what your next boyfriend is doing right now. Is he traveling? Is he sleeping? Is
He's at
he
work. He's at work, working hard.
he's working hard to get to the same level as you.
Yeah, hopefully. Or maybe
Thank-
I'm working hard to get to the same level as him. Who knows?
no, maybe he's just waiting for you to work harder to get to his level.
That's right. You
I
never
love
know.
to, you
You
never
never
know.
know, right?
Before you go, Raymond, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
What I live by is set the goals today that you want to achieve tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I don't necessarily mean tomorrow. It could be
Mhm.
5 years from now, but you gotta set those goals. And I believe in writing them down and having them written, because when you write something down, you make a contract with yourself.
Totally, absolutely. Right. And I just, again, happy birthday when it comes. I'm glad that we had this interview as well in this last day of the year for you. And I
Yeah.
think it's amazing for sure. Tomorrow for you is going to be a new year starting. I just wish all the best for you for this
Thank
new
you.
year ahead. And I just, hope that just live the best of you. You know what I mean? So I think I just wish all the best. Thanks
Thank
for the interview. Regards to your mom, to your sister, all your friends
you.
around, and you keep in touch. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Good luck on 2 months left on your law school. 2 months
Two
left.
months left. I'm almost done. I'm almost there, and then I start working, which is great.
Take care. Okay. Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye, William.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.